How you doing, guys? One thing that's inevitable, and there's one thing that's eventually going to happen, even with your closest friends, you're eventually going to have a disagreement. If not a knockdown, drag-out fight. And the funny thing is, the closer you are to a person, sometimes the worse they get, because you know little intricate things about this person that can really sting. Well, it happens, you have a disagreement, and you're going back and forth. Finally, you say it. You say the one thing that kicks your friend below the belt. Well, you immediately see the pain look in their eyes. And turn, I'm going home, and they leave. Well, for a second you say to yourself, you had it coming. And the other half of your brain is saying, why did I say that? Well, you try and forget about it and you go home. You think about it all night, and you're sitting there pretending to be watching TV or pretending to be reading, but you got this going through your head all night. They had it coming, I was in the right. But you still feel guilty about that comment you made. Well, you're debating back and forth. Should I apologize? No, I was in the right. But eventually the anger subsides. And you realize, I got to apologize. Well, you approach your friend next time you see them. They're a little bit apprehensive because of what you said. It really stung. And you basically, I don't know what to say. I should not have said that. And you apologize. No excuses, just the apology. Well, the friend's a little bit hurt, but a little apprehension, but they start talking back and forth. And before you know it, you're conversing like friends again. Well, your friend gets over it, accepts the apology, but it's still in the back of your mind, the hurt that you dished out on that person. And that will bother you for a long time, a lot longer than it will bother them. That is a real apology. There is also a fake apology. And we've all heard it. Okay, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't have said that if you didn't. They make excuses. Or while they're apologizing, they're shooting insults at the people they're apologizing to. That is a fake apology. You might as well not even bother. The one thing I always liked was the people who demand an apology. I didn't like what you said. I demand an apology. I was working in an assisted living facility some years ago. And it was between lunch and dinner, so the guys and I went outside to smoke a little ganja. And we're sitting there talking. One of the older women on the medical staff decides to come out with us, which is fine. I guess somebody had pointed out I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I was at the time, even though I was fading. And she inquired, I heard you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Yes, I am. She proceeded to read me the riot act. Well, I don't like what you say about my religion. I wasn't aware that I said anything about your religion. Apparently she was Catholic. But now all of a sudden, not Jehovah's Witnesses, I personally attacked her religion. You said this, 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 and this, which I give her this much, it was all in the watchtower. But it wasn't personally me. And I said, well, that did not come from me. I don't feel as though I owe you an apology, so there will be no apology. Well, I think you should say, I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry. She got up and stormed away. I don't think it was about 15 minutes later. Management was walking her out the door. Apparently, she had been fired. It was kind of funny. I relayed this story to the J-Dubs that night at the meeting. And they took it, oh, Jehovah stepped in and saved you. No, it's more likely she had an issue with management before that conversation even started. But that is the demanding apology. I always like it when people demand an apology. You know, even if you get one, it's not going to be real. And the more somebody pushes for an apology, the more I'm like, you can kiss my backside. But a common one that most people don't even think about is the beatdown apology. Where you have suppose you have a group of people There's somebody who likes to hang out with these people, but they really don't fit in. And the guys, they like to needle this person. They like to bully him. They like to send him on to do stupid errands. Or when they need a punching bag, they all of a sudden all ignore him. Well, this outcast wants to know what he did. And he's like, guys, I'm sorry. And he's apologizing for things he didn't even do, but frankly, he doesn't even know if he did anything wrong. They're just picking on the guy. But nonetheless, he's apologizing. Now, most of us have been in a judicial hearing. We've all seen how judicial committees work. You got 3 or 4 guys on one. Now, the whole idea of this is to break a person down, intimidate the person. Hold on one second there, guys. Sorry, guys, somebody was at the door. No, it wasn't Jehovah's Witnesses. But the one thing about judicial committees, they like to break a person down. So you've got 3 sets of eyes on you. And while you're talking, they're all getting little bits and pieces, and they all know when to fire in. Now, I know how judicial committees work. I never had it bad with my judicial hearings because there was always that fear that Vinny might strike. But I have seen people trying to get reinstated to come back. And those are far even worse. Because depending on who you are, some people get let right back in. Other people have to jump through hoops. And the thing is, each time they come back with another letter of reinstatement, they make them jump through more hoops. Well, we don't think you're ready. You know, the funny thing is, one thing that's never happened is a judicial committee saying, you know something, we've been looking over your case. We were wrong. We apologize. That has never happened. And they've never reinstated somebody on the spot just when they came in. Usually you have to go through, a year now of sitting there like a dunce before you're actually reinstated. But never has a judicial committee said, we were wrong. Now, there have been individual elders who have, but most of them never said anything. As a matter of fact, Jehovah Runaway Slave 4747 was one of those elders that feels pretty bad about being on the judicial committees. And the unfortunate thing is, Joe beats himself up worse than anybody could. And the unfortunate thing is, he's the only one who can forgive himself. And there are other elders, I'm sure. The elder who brought me the letter after I didn't show up for my final judicial hearing, this told me that I had been disfellowshipped. As he handed me the letter, he started breaking down. He started crying. That told me I was DF'd. I handled it far better than he did. I never opened the letter to find out why I was disfellowshipped. As soon as he left, I dropped it in the trash. But I was thinking, why would you send a guy alone? How do you know I wasn't going to beat the tar out of this guy? If you're a judicial committee, you should have all came together. But no, they sent the guy alone. But I could never see putting myself through that, jumping through those hoops. And you're not even sure if they're going to reinstate you or not. I know what it's like to sit in the Kingdom Hall when you've been mocked. It's not a pleasant experience, and some of you have been mocked as well. This kind of got me used to. I called it pre-shunning at the time. So even if I was DF'd, by the time I was DF'd, it had no effect. Because I've seen people that had been disfellowshipped at every single meeting, sitting there on the back with that look of shame on their face. Why? Because a group of guys said you weren't repentant? And for the most part, you don't even know why these people were disfellowshipped for. Smoking was one. As a matter of fact, I've been caught smoking twice. And I was told, if we let this go, Jehovah's going to pull his Holy Spirit off the congregation. He'll pull his Holy Spirit off the congregation if you're caught smoking, but he won't if you're covering up for a pedophile in the congregation. By the time I had come to my final judicial hearing, I'm thinking, you know something? I'm not going. I had already been privately reproved. Then I was publicly reproved. What was next? 3 strikes, you're out. I opted not to go. And most people feel they're obligated to go. You have to go. No, you don't. If you know you're on your way out and you're told to go to your judicial hearing, why go? Don't let them hold you hostage. The only reason these boinks have any authority over you at all is because you gave it to them. Take it back. Don't let these guys bully you, because you'll never get an apology. And for that matter, if you do go back and you are reinstated, keep this in mind. Everything you did is still on your record, so you're still held accountable. So are you really forgiven? No, because the thing is, if you're brought up in front of another judicial committee, they're going to be looking at your record and pointing everything out that you did. So were you really forgiven? No, you weren't. Tell these guys to go fly a kite, because they're not worth douche. Their apologies are fake because they don't apologize, but they want to give you a beatdown so that you apologize for something that really, should you be sorry for? Because most of the time, what people are disfellowship for are things that are none of their business. Keep that in mind, guys. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. I'll be talking to you soon. You guys have a good day.